All right, so today we're gonna do something a little different.
Okay.
I bet you're probably like getting ready for a trip, or maybe you're just brushing up on your English skills, or
Hmm.
maybe you're just fascinated by like how we communicate.
Yeah.
Either way, this deep dive is all about kind of unlocking those secrets of everyday English.
Right.
We're going to be cracking open this basic English conversation 100 daily topics and think of it less like a textbook
Yeah.
and more like a collection of real life examples, almost like we're eavesdropping on people.
Yeah. Like a fly on the wall.
Yeah,
These are
exactly.
for conversations.
So what we're aiming for is to give you those phrases that you can use right away.
Hmm.
You know, the kind that make you sound like you've been speaking English like forever.
Absolutely.
But we're also going to get into like the flow of these conversations, that back and forth, that can be a little tricky.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
You know?
you can learn the words, but like, how do you actually use them in a conversation?
Right.
That's the tricky part.
It-
We're giving you like the cheat sheet and the backstage pass to how this actually works.
Totally sign me up for that.
Yeah.
I'm really curious about what kind of everyday situations we're even talking about.
Well, the website focuses on those high frequency needs, greetings,
Okay.
asking for directions, ordering food, making plans, like all those things that you need to do all the time,
Okay.
especially if you're traveling or you're living, in an English-speaking environment.
Those building blocks.
Yeah, the foundations of basic communication.
Right. And if you can kind of nail those down, you're going to feel so much more confident.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Even if your vocabulary isn't huge.
Absolutely. And that's what they do. They jump right in like lesson one.
Okay.
It's like this simple, where are you from exchange.
Okay.
But here's where it gets really interesting. They actually highlight this response a little for when somebody asks if you speak English.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
Instead of freezing up or feeling like you have to be fluent, you have this simple, polite way to acknowledge your level and just like keep the conversation moving.
exactly. It's
Yeah.
like, I understand, I know a little bit, but maybe not everything.
Right.
And it keeps things going.
That's a game changer, especially for beginners who might be feeling a little self-conscious.
No, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
It's all about those small wins
Yes.
that build your confidence.
Totally.
Now, something else that caught my eye was how the website isn't just a wall of text.
Yeah.
It really emphasizes the visual structure of these conversations.
Hmm.
Like they present it with each line, like showing the back and forth.
Yeah.
Um, I'm curious, like, what do you think they're trying to achieve by emphasizing that visual element?
Now that you mention it, yeah, I did notice that. It's
Yeah.
like they're giving you a map
Yeah.
of the conversation, showing you not just what to say, but like when to say it.
Yes.
And I think that's really helpful for someone who might be nervous about jumping into an actual real conversation.
Absolutely. And you know what they're tapping into there is this really crucial aspect of conversation, which is that back and forth, that turn taking.
Right.
It's about recognizing those cues and prompts that guide the conversation,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to like, expressing needs and being polite.
Oh, that's a good point. Which brings to mind lesson 5,
Okay.
where they tackle the classic "I'm hungry" scenario.
Yes.
But I was struck by how they say desires indirectly. You know, they'll say something like, "I would like to eat something."
Right.
Why not just come out and say, "I'm starving"?
Well, it's funny because this indirectness is such a fascinating aspect of English communication,
Right.
but it's not actually unique to English. A
Oh,
lot of languages have these subtle ways of softening requests,
yeah.
so you don't sound too demanding.
I see.
It's all about hitting that right level of politeness,
Okay.
especially when you're making suggestions or requests. Being too direct
Mm-hmm.
can be perceived as rude or even aggressive.
So it's not just about the words themselves.
Right.
It's about understanding the cultural context and how to use the language in a way that's appropriate.
Yeah, it's that nuance.
Yeah.
That can be so tricky for language learners.
Yeah, totally. And speaking of navigating nuance,
Okay.
lesson 7 cracks me up.
Oh, yeah.
It shows you how to negotiate times, and it's hilarious.
It's so funny.
This whole back and forth of suggesting and rejecting until you land on a time that works for everyone.
It is. It's like, that's too late. How about this time? No, that's no good either.
It goes on forever.
Yeah.
But it really highlights how even those simple conversations can involve a bit of negotiation.
Exactly. And what's key there is the language that they use.
Yeah.
Like, that's too late. Or how about, like, those become the building blocks
Duh.
of negotiation,
I see.
even in simple conversations.
Interesting.
So those seemingly basic phrases become your tools for navigating these interactions smoothly.
Okay, so speaking of real-world scenarios, let's imagine we successfully navigated, a dinner date,
Right?
and now we're at the restaurant because lesson 10 is like the website's grand finale.
It's the big one.
It's a full-blown theatrical production going from entering the restaurant all the way to placing your order.
That's right. And it walks us through that entire process from the host greeting to the final food order.
All right, hit me with the scene. I'm ready.
All right, so picture this. You walk into the French Garden restaurant,
Okay.
and immediately you're greeted by the host.
Okay.
They confirm your party size, they lead you to your table, and they let you know that your waiter will be with you shortly.
Hold on. Before we even get to the menu,
Yeah.
shouldn't there be like a drink order somewhere in there?
You are so right. I got ahead of myself.
Okay.
Let's rewind.
Okay.
We'll break it down step by step, starting with that waiter approaching your table.
Okay.
So there you are, settled at your table
Yep.
in the French Garden restaurant,
Yeah.
eagerly awaiting the waiter.
Okay. I'm already feeling a little nervous. What happens next?
The waiter approaches and says, "Hello, sir. Would you like to order now?" Notice how it's phrased as a question.
Yeah.
So it gives you that control over the pace of the interaction.
Oh, that's a good point.
It's very polite and respectful.
You're not being rushed into making a decision.
Exactly.
So what if you need like a few minutes?
Oh, you can totally say that. Can we have a few more minutes, please?
Okay.
Or we're still looking at the menu?
Got it.
No problem at all.
All right. That makes me feel better.
Yeah.
So let's say we're ready.
Okay.
Does the food come first?
Not quite. They typically start with drinks.
Okay.
In this dialogue, they keep it really simple, just water, juice, or Coke.
Makes sense.
But, in a real restaurant, you'd obviously have a much longer list of options.
Right. Of course.
But this is a good starting point
Yeah.
to just understand that basic structure of the interaction.
All right. So we've chosen our drinks.
Okay.
What happens next?
The waiter will then ask, "What would you like to eat?"
Here comes the moment of truth. What culinary delights does our intrepid diner choose from this French Garden restaurant menu?
Well, in this scenario, they go for a classic, a tuna fish sandwich, and a bowl of vegetable soup.
Sounds delicious, and it illustrates how to clearly and concisely, communicate your order. But what if you have a question about the menu
Yeah,
or want to make like a special request?
that's a great question. And while this basic dialogue doesn't really delve into those specifics,
Right.
it's important to remember that you can always ask for clarification.
Okay.
So don't be afraid to use phrases like, can I have that without? Or is there a vegetarian option?
Much better to be upfront about your needs and preferences
Oh, for sure.
than to end up with a meal you can't enjoy.
Absolutely. And remember, even if you make a mistake or stumble over your words,
Happens.
the most important thing is to keep communicating.
Mistakes are part of the process.
Yes.
In fact, the website really emphasizes the importance of practice, going beyond just reading the dialogues. They encourage you to actively use these phrases and structures in real life.
You got to get out there and actually use it.
It's like learning an instrument. You can't just read the sheet music. You have to play it.
Exactly. You got to put it into practice.
So it's about turning those words on the page into actual real-world communication skills.
That's the goal.
Totally. And they offer all sorts of ways to practice, from role-playing with a partner to just incorporating the phrases into your daily conversations.
I love that.
Me too. It makes language learning so much more accessible, less intimidating.
Yeah.
You don't need any fancy software or expensive courses.
Yeah.
You can literally practice anywhere, anytime.
Exactly. It's about making it part of your daily routine.
Yeah.
Instead of this separate chore,
Right.
you're building those language muscles through repetition
Totally.
and real world application.
I'm seeing a real theme emerge here.
What's that?
It's not just about memorizing, words and phrases.
Yeah.
It's about understanding that flow, those unspoken rules of conversation,
Yeah.
and then actually practicing those skills in real life.
Right.
It's almost like learning the art of communication, wouldn't you say?
You hit the nail on the head. Basic English is more than just vocabulary.
Okay.
It's about mastering that art of interaction, knowing how to initiate, respond, and navigate the ebb and flow
Yeah.
of a conversation.
And this website provides such a great framework for doing that, using those everyday scenarios that we can all relate to.
Exactly. It's like having a personal language coach right in your pocket.
I love that. So as we wrap up kind of our exploration of this website,
Okay.
what's that one key takeaway that you'd like to leave our listeners with?
That's a great question. I think the most important thing to remember is that fluency isn't like a destination.
Okay.
It's a journey.
Okay.
And even these seemingly simple exchanges are those stepping stones on that journey.
So you're saying it's okay to start small.
Oh, absolutely.
To focus on those basic conversations and then build from there.
Yes, don't underestimate the power of mastering these everyday exchanges.
Yeah,
Because they lay the foundation for more complex interactions down the road.
I like that.
Embrace the journey.
Yeah.
Embrace the mistakes and keep practicing.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, you don't have to be perfect to start speaking English.
That is such a good point.
Yeah.
So for our listeners who are feeling inspired to put their newfound knowledge into practice,
Okay.
what's one actionable step they can take today?
Okay, here's what I propose. Pick one dialogue from the website that really resonates with you.
Okay.
Maybe it's the restaurant scenario asking for directions, or even just a simple greeting.
Mm-hmm.
And find an opportunity to use it in a real conversation today.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's like a little language quest.
It is.
A chance to test out your skills in the wild.
Totally.
It could be with a friend, a colleague, or even a stranger.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about making mistakes.
Right.
Every interaction is a learning opportunity.
Great advice. So as we move into the final part of our deep dive, what's one final thought you want to leave our listeners with?
Okay, let's see something to ponder
Yeah.
as they embark on their language adventures.
All right.
Yeah.
That's a thought-provoking challenge. It reminds me of something we haven't really touched on.
What's that?
We've talked about the phrases, the structure, the flow.
Right.
But what about the why? Like,
Mhm.
why is it so important to master these everyday conversations in the first place?
You know, I think it really boils down to connection.
Okay.
Language at its core is about connecting with others,
Mm-hmm.
sharing ideas,
Yeah.
building relationships.
Yeah.
And those connections often begin with the simplest exchanges.
Right.
Asking for directions,
Yeah.
ordering a coffee, even just a quick hello.
So it's not just about getting the words right.
Uh-huh.
It's about using language to engage with the world around you.
Exactly. And those seemingly small interactions can ripple outwards.
I see.
They can lead to greater understanding, empathy, and even open doors to like unexpected opportunities.
So it's like those basic conversations are those threads
Yeah.
that kind of weave together the fabric of human connection.
That's beautiful.
So by mastering those threads,
Yeah.
you're not just learning a language,
Mhm.
you're expanding your world.
You're empowering yourself to participate in life more fully,
Wow.
to connect with people from different cultures and backgrounds.
That's incredible. So for our listeners who are feeling inspired
Yeah.
to put their newfound knowledge into practice,
Mm-hmm.
what's one final piece of advice you'd give them?
Don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Okay.
Embrace every opportunity to practice, to connect, to step outside your comfort zone.
Yeah.
The path to fluency is paved with those imperfect moments.
That's such a powerful reminder.
Ask for help.
Yeah.
Be patient with yourself and remember every interaction, no matter how small, is a step forward.
It's not about perfection.
Yeah,
It's about progress.
exactly.
Taking those small steps,
Yeah.
having those sometimes awkward conversations,
Yeah.
but knowing that with each one you're becoming a more confident
Mhm.
and capable communicator.
Exactly. And remember, the world is full of people who are eager to connect,
Yeah.
to share their language and culture.
Totally.
All you have to do is take that first step
Yeah.
and start the conversation.
And who knows what amazing things might happen from there. A new friendship,
A new adventure.
an unexpected adventure,
Yeah.
a deeper understanding of the world around you.
The possibilities are endless.
It's been a pleasure exploring Basic English Conversation 100 daily topics with you.
Likewise, it's been great.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the heart of everyday English.
Yeah.
We hope you've gained some valuable insights and practical tips
Mhm.
to help you on your language learning adventure.
To help you on your journey.
Until next time, keep practicing, keep connecting,
Yeah,
and keep exploring the wonderful world of language.
absolutely.
Happy talking.
Bye. Okay, so there you are,
Mm.
settled at your table
Yeah.
in the French Garden restaurant.
I'm already feeling a little nervous what happens next.
All right, so the waiter approaches
Okay.
and says, "Hello, sir. Would you like to order now?"
Okay.
Notice how it's phrased as a question.
Yeah.
It gives you that control
Mhm.
over the pace of the interaction.
Oh, that's a good point. You're not like, being rushed
Right.
to make a decision.
It's very polite and respectful.
Okay, so what if you need a few minutes?
Oh, you could totally say that, can we have a few more minutes, please? Or
Yeah.
we're still looking at the menu.
Right.
No problem at all.
Okay, that makes me feel better. So let's say we're ready.
Okay.
Does the food order come first?
Not quite. Usually they'll start with drinks.
Okay.
In this case, they keep it super simple.
Okay.
It's just, water, juice, Coke.
Right. In a real restaurant, you'd have a much longer list of options.
Of course.
But it's a good starting point.
Yeah, gives you that basic structure
Right.
of the interaction.
Okay, cool. So we've chosen our drinks.
All right?
Now what?
So the waiter will then ask, what would you like to eat?
Here it is, the moment of truth.
A moment of truth.
What does our intrepid diner choose from the menu?
Well, in this scenario, they go for a classic, a tuna fish sandwich, and a bowl of vegetable soup.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah.
And it shows you how to, like, clearly and concisely
Right.
communicate your order.
Exactly.
But what if you have a question about the menu?
Yeah.
Or, like, want to make a special request?
That is a great question. And this basic dialogue doesn't get into those specifics.
Okay.
But you can always ask for clarification.
Okay.
So don't be afraid to say things like, can I have that without, or
Mhm.
is there a vegetarian option?
Much better to be upfront
Oh, for sure.
about your needs
Yeah,
than to end up with meal you don't like.
absolutely.
Hmm.
And remember, even if you like make a mistake or you stumble over your words,
Oh, yeah.
the most important thing is to keep communicating.
Right. Mistakes are part of the process.
Exactly.
In fact, the website emphasizes the importance of practice. You know, going beyond just reading these dialogues. They encourage you to, like, actively use these phrases and structures in real life situations.
You got to get out there and actually use it.
Yeah, it's like learning an instrument. You can't just read the sheet music.
Yeah, play it.
You gotta play it.
Put it into practice.
So it's about turning those words on the page into actual real-world communication skills.
That's the goal.
And they offer all these different ways to practice, like role-playing with a friend or just incorporating the phrases into your daily conversations.
It's a great way to make it fun.
I love that. It makes language learning so much more accessible,
Yeah,
less intimidating.
for sure.
You don't need any fancy software or expensive courses.
No, you don't need any of that.
You can literally practice anywhere, anytime.
Make it part of your everyday life.
Yeah.
Build those language muscles.
Yeah. I see this theme kind of emerging here.
What's that?
It's not just about memorizing words and phrases.
Right.
It's about understanding that flow,
Yeah.
like those unspoken rules,
Right, yeah.
and then actually practicing in real life.
Yeah, putting it into practice is key.
It's almost like you're learning the art of communication.
You hit the nail on the head. Basic English is more than just vocabulary.
Okay.
It's about mastering that art of interaction,
I see.
knowing how to, initiate, respond, and navigate those conversations.
Yeah. I love that this website gives us this framework for doing that,
Yeah.
using these scenarios.
It's like having a personal language coach
I love that.
right in your pocket.
So as we wrap up our exploration,
Okay.
what's the one key takeaway you want to leave our listeners with?
That's a great question. I think the most important thing is to remember that fluency, it's not a destination.
Okay.
It's a journey.
I like that.
And even these simple exchanges are those stepping stones.
Okay. So you're saying it's okay to start small,
Oh, absolutely.
to focus on those basic conversations and then build from there.
Yes. Don't underestimate the power of these everyday exchanges.
Yeah.
Because they really form the foundation.
Right.
For more complex interactions.
Awesome.
Embrace the journey, embrace the mistakes, and keep practicing.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be perfect to start speaking English.
I love that. So for our listeners who are feeling inspired
All right.
to put this into practice,
Yeah.
what's one actionable step they can take today?
Here's what I would suggest. Pick one dialogue from the website
Okay.
that really resonates with you.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the restaurant scenario, asking for directions, or even just a simple greeting,
Mm-hmm.
and find a chance to use it today in a real conversation.
I love that.
It's like a little language quest,
It is.
a chance to test out your skills.
Totally.
It could be with a friend, a colleague, or even a stranger.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about making mistakes.
Right.
Every interaction is a learning opportunity.
Great advice. So as we move into the final part of our deep dive,
Right.
what's one final thought you want to leave our listeners with?
Something to ponder
Yeah.
as they embark on their language adventures.
Yeah. So it's like we talked about the how.
Or the phrases, the structure.
Yeah, the flow.
Right, but like what about the why?
Yeah, like why bother?
Why is it so important?
to master these everyday conversations?
I think it boils down to connection.
Okay.
Language at its heart, it's all about connecting with other people,
Mm-hmm.
sharing ideas,
Right.
building relationships.
Yeah.
And those connections, they often start with those simple exchanges,
Yeah.
like asking for directions,
Right.
ordering a coffee.
Or just a simple hello.
Exactly.
So it's not just about getting the words right.
Right.
It's about using language to engage with the world.
Yes. And those seemingly small interactions,
Yeah.
they can have a ripple effect.
Okay.
They can lead to greater understanding,
I see.
empathy, even opening doors to unexpected opportunities.
So it's like those basic conversations are those threads that weave together the fabric of human connection.
That's beautiful.
By mastering those threads, you're not just learning a language.
Right.
You're expanding your world.
You're empowering yourself to participate more fully.
Wow.
To connect with people from different cultures, different backgrounds.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
So for our listeners who are feeling inspired to put this knowledge into practice, what's one final piece of advice you'd give them?
Don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Okay.
Embrace every opportunity to practice, to connect, to step outside your comfort zone.
Yeah.
The path to fluency is paved with those imperfect moments.
That's such a good reminder.
Ask for help, be patient with yourself, and remember every interaction, no matter how small it is.
Yeah.
It's a step forward.
It's not about perfection.
Yeah.
It's about progress.
Exactly.
It's about, taking those small steps, having those awkward conversations sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
But knowing that with each one, you're becoming more confident, a more capable communicator.
Exactly. And remember, the world is full of people who want to connect.
Yeah.
Who want to share their language, their culture. All you have to do is take that first step and start the conversation.
And who knows what might happen? A new friendship.
A new adventure.
An unexpected adventure, a deeper understanding of the world.
The possibilities are endless.
Well, it's been such a pleasure exploring this website with you.
Likewise, it's been fantastic.
Thank you for joining us today on this deep dive into the heart of everyday English.
Everyday English.
We hope you've learned some valuable insights and practical tips to help you on your own language learning journey.
Absolutely.
Until next time, keep practicing, keep connecting, and keep exploring this amazing world of language.
That's it.
Happy talking out.